Seated. Ladies, have a seat, please.
Mr. Newman, you want your money back from the defendant who made a wedding dress for your wife. And the crux of your complaint is that not only it wasn't exactly what you wanted or what your wife wanted, but that it was so poorly made that it didn't fit her. It wasn't a custom-made dress.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Not only do you want your money back, you want a whole bunch of other nonsense, which you're not going to get. You want aggravation and stress and the cost of the new dress because you didn't use the dress that the defendant made. So we're going to restrict your claim to what you paid the defendant.
Okay.
Now, how did you find the defendant?
Well, Your Honor, myself and my wife, Felicia here, we got married July 30th of this past year, and we had been searching around for wedding dresses and nothing that she had really liked. So friends of ours had instructed us about Mr. McKinney's shop.
Had recommended him.
Had recommended him to us.
People who you believed had used him to make wedding dresses before?
Well, not necessarily wedding dresses. It's just that he was more or less a seamstress and black proprietor in our area of South Bend. So I said, well, let's just give him a try. It can't hurt to try, to go over there and see what we can do for us.
So when you went in to see him, you went in to see him on what date?
Well, we first went in there, it was about the week before Father's Day, so I'd say about the 11th of June that we actually went in there to see him.
Okay, so you were giving him 6 weeks to make a dress?
Yes.
And did you bring him photographs of the dress that you liked?
No, well, she already had an idea of what she wanted.
An idea is very hard to read.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so you either bring him a photograph, you look up on the internet the dress that you like, or you have him make a sketch of the dress.
And that's what he did.
He made a sketch.
He had the internet, and he had different styles that he was showing her at the time.
Okay. So now the next thing I want you to do is to show me the styles that your then fiancé selected. I need to see the styles that your fiancé selected. Do you have them?
Yes.
I'd like to take a look at them. You don't mind him showing them to me, do you?
No.
So you printed those, you showed her those styles, and from these styles, she selected something.
Yes. So,
okay. Would you stand up, please?
So that first picture is the...
Shh, don't tell me. I assume this is what you made.
Yes, that's what we made.
And these are the photographs that you showed her.
Yes, that's the top
Do you
part.
see these photographs?
Yes.
You saw this photograph before?
Yes.
Okay, one that you selected with some alterations.
Yes.
And you saw this photograph. That's the bottom.
Okay, yes.
Right, so you saw that photograph. Now, this one is different because this one has a little sleeve. Did you want a little sleeve?
Yes.
Okay, so you wanted a little sleeve. That has no sleeve. You wanted a little sleeve. That sleeve doesn't come down about as much as this does. I don't know whether you discussed that. Okay, and then this is a photograph of the back.
Yes.
That you looked at. And that's the dress that he made for you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And this is the back of the dress that he made for you.
Yes.
Okay. So at some point in July, he calls you and tells you that the dress is ready to come in for a fitting, right?
Yes, he did.
And that was about July 18th or 19th.
Yes, but he told me to give him 2 weeks, the dress would be ready.
Just a second. You went in July 18th or 19th for a fitting.
Right.
And how far had the dress gotten?
Like that.
Just like this?
Yes.
Okay. And you tried it on?
Yes.
And tell me what happened when you tried it on.
Okay, but when I first looked at it, I didn't like it because I had asked him that I wanted the spandex material. He told me that it was going to be that. But when we looked at it, he said he had to get on whoever made it. Because I kept telling him I needed spandex because I'm a heavy-set person, and I know ordering it through the mail, it'll be a problem trying to get it ready for my wedding. So when he told me that, I'm like, okay, I'll come in and look at it. And when I looked at it, I'm like, it don't even have a shape to fit me. So he said the seamstress would help, fix it for me.
Okay, so what you wanted was you wanted a spandex material. Now, had she told you she wanted a spandex material?
Well, she said she wanted a stretchy material.
Stretchy material.
Yes. And I have papers here from the people that made it, and it is describing...
I'd like to see it.
Yes.
So she said she wanted a stretching material. I gathered that from both your complaint and your answer, that she let you know that the dress had to have a little give to it.
Yes.
Yes.
In that paperwork, it shows you the second one. It's got stretchy material in it.
Now, excuse me, Your Honor.
Just a second. I just have to see. Well, the outside can't be stretchy because the outside is lace, so that's clear. So the underside has to have a little bit of a stretch to it.
Now, at the same time, Your Honor...
Don't talk to me while I'm moving.
Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
can't walk and chew gum at the same time.
Not the outside of the dress, probably the inside.
I understand. Okay. Mr. McKinney, that's not stretch satin. I'm telling you, the inside of that dress is not the kind of material that has give to it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't care what this note says from whomever, which is really...
So around the hips?
Isn't it the same satin all over? I went underneath the dress to the lining.
Probably the hips area is where...
What do you mean, probably the hip area?
Underneath would be the stretchy material, not the top part of the bust. You need stretchy to be here, around the waist.
No.
Oh, so what I'm asking you is, did you use one fabric or two different fabrics to make the lining of the dress?
Well, my job first is to just take the measurements.
No. You're going to answer my question.
What?
I assumed, having had these things done myself, that you use one fabric to make the underside of the dress. And is what you're suggesting to me that you use two different fabrics?
Two different fabrics.
Okay, I'm going to go back.
The stretchy needs to be hip area.
So you used a different fabric because clearly, this is not stretch at all. So what you're suggesting is under here, you want to come over here, sir? You could turn this thing around, you can do whatever you want to show me that the bottom part is stretch.
I'm not sure how they get it up here. Oh, here it is. So here,
Hold on. No way. Now, you know that's not stretch material, sir. I know what a spandex material, what a stretch material is. That's not a stretch material. You can go like this, but that's not a material that has a give to it. Okay, but you made the dress, and there was a lot of effort that went into making this dress, but it didn't fit you.
Right.
And Mr. McKinney acknowledged that it didn't fit you when you came in, so he said his seamstress would come in to fit it again, which is usually what you do when you make bridal dresses. You go back sometimes for 4 fittings before it gets right. So you went back again.
A week before the wedding.
Okay,
and when I went in there, she looked at it, she said the dress was not measured for me. And I told her, that's what I told him. So when she tried to do it, she tried to take it out. It even got tighter when I tried it back on again.
Just a second. So it didn't fit.
Right.
Well, when you went in there on the 18th or 19th, which seamstress came out and fitted you?
He didn't have one then.
Well, did he pin it? Did somebody pin it?
Yes,
he did.
Yes.
So he did the pinning.
Yes.
Of where you wanted it
to fit across here.
How was it?
It was too tight. I couldn't even sit down in it. That's why they had to take it out on the side.
Okay, so he had to release a little bit.
Yes.
And he put in some things to release it.
No, she
some
just
pins.
took it out. Yes, the pins.
Pins to show the seamstress where it had to be released around your hips. Was that done when you came back a week before? Had it been released around your hips?
3 days before the wedding, yes.
It had been released. So you could sit down?
I couldn't sit down.
Could or could not?
Couldn't.
Could not?
Right, could not.
Even a week before?
Yes.
After she had let it out?
Yes.
Okay. And how was the top?
The top wouldn't even fit me. It's like the bra right here. It's too close in and I'm wide-chested. So they had to try to pull that up, and it looked like it didn't get done neither.
Okay. And a week before the wedding, who was there? The seamstress or Mr. McKinney, or both?
Both.
Did you have a conversation with Mr. McKinney?
Yes.
Tell me what you said to him, and what did he say to you?
He had asked me, well, the seamstress is here. So when we looked at this, the seamstress looked at it. She told him, she said, there's really nothing I can do with this dress. And I said, that's what I told him.
Just a second. And what did he say?
He walked away. He was helping somebody else in the store and left her with me.
Did you take the dress?
No, I left it.
Is this the seamstress?
No, that's his
Where's
mother.
the seamstress?
Oh, she's not
Who
here.
is this?
This is my mom. She was in the store when she initially came in the store.
I don't need her. I need the seamstress.
No, she was here.
I need the seamstress. Not your mom.
Yeah, but when she left with the dress, I don't know what her.
We never took
We
the
never
dress.
took the
Just a
dress.
second. She didn't take the dress.
Well, the seamstress took it with her, and she was there when they left. The seamstress took the dress with her, and they
She's
left.
supposed to have been fixing it for me.
Is that a week before the wedding?
It was,
1 week before the wedding.
yes.
And what happened?
And she didn't get to it until 3 days before the wedding when she had me to come in.
Come in where?
In her shop.
So you went to a different shop?
Yes.
Did you make this dress or did somebody else?
Someone else makes it.
Just a second. So she came to your shop, but you subcontracted to somebody else to make the dress?
Yes.
Who took the measurements, the initial measurements?
I take the initial.
Just a second. You took the initial measurements.
Yes.
Now it's all coming together.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
What I did see was when she made the turn, this young lady came over into our lane and hit her wheel well.
Did you see this lady there that day?
I did.
She says that you came over into her lane.
owes for a substandard wedding dress and for the stress it caused.
Now, you took the initial measurements, handed it over to somebody else,
Yes.
and you paid $650, right?
$750.
700. I have a paper right here.
I'd like to see it.
I do have two.
I just want to see what you paid.
Oh, she paid $700.
Oh, no, that's
The
not it.
$751 was after he came in and got some shoes. He came
No,
in
no.
a week
Dress.
before the 30th
Just to say,
and
all
asked
I
me
want to
for a
see is the
second
bill.
receipt.
All I want to be is the bill. This says shoes, Felicia, wedding dress, catalog, wedding dress, $750.
But you can see
Just
where the
for the
payments were
plaintiff
made.
in the amount of $750. This is what happened. You took the wrong measurements. You didn't get her what she wanted because there was a spandex material. You subcontracted the dress to somebody else. And then when it didn't work out, you said, you take care of it. Went back to her shop. I don't know whether you paid the lady or not. You didn't do the right thing. They get their money back. We're done. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
They came in a couple weeks before their wedding. I did everything I could
In all actuality, we never probably should have went to him.
to make her happy.
She was very upset. I mean, it was so emotional those last 2 weeks. I mean, she cried every night.
And I just couldn't make her happy.
Oh, it was bad. It hurted. But I'm so glad that the outcome came good.
Well, just can't please everybody.
Hey, the bride is always right. You know you got to make that woman happy now.
And now,
Ladies, have a seat.
We're going to start with you, Miss Ward. Miss Ward, you and Mr. Reed have a child together.
Yes,
Girl or a boy?
a girl.
And she's 7.
Yes,
And you lived in what state when she was born?
in California.
Did you ever live with Mr. Reed?
Yes,
For how long?
2 years.
And after you separated, you remained in California.
Yes,
And you met Mr. Galloway.
yes,
And you and Mr. Galloway have been together for how long?
for almost 5 years.
You have a child together.
We have 2.
Where are you from, Mr. Galloway?
I was born and raised, I was in Long Beach, California. Long Beach, California.
Do you have family elsewhere?
I was raised in foster care. I never grew up with my mom or dad.
Do you have any connection to the state of Washington?
I have friends, yes I do. I have friends out there. I moved out there to,
Did you have friends when you moved there?
yes ma'am.
From school, from...
From just growing up, from work friends, and we decided to go out there for a better way of living, better living.
And that was after your 2 children were born?
Yes ma'am.
So in what year did you and Miss Ward decide to go to the state of Washington?
I want to say, was it December, late December of last year, January this year?
And you took Miss Ward and Mr. Reed's daughter with you.
Yes, ma'am. We took our family with us. Yes.
Well, you took his family with you.
You're correct. You're correct.
And so this is what I'm gathering, putting together this case. You left the state of California with your 2 children.
Yes.
You said you were moving there for a better life.
Yes, ma'am.
And in all probability, without Mr. Reed's consent, you took his daughter as well. Did you have Mr. Reed's consent before you moved with your daughter?
No.
These papers don't make that clear, but I assume there was a lawsuit brought by Mr. Reed
Yes, ma'am.
to return his daughter to her home state, which was California.
You're correct. Yes.
And the judge who heard that case agreed with him
Yes.
and said, you're a mother, you're a father, you each have rights. You can't take Mr. Reed's child out of the state of California because your family wants a better life without consulting him and putting him in the mix. Child is entitled to have two parents.
Your Honor, Mr. Reed hasn't been in the child's life. He hasn't been around.
Well, what I can tell you is, from what I gather from the papers, he now has custody of his daughter.
You're correct.
Since when?
He had custody September, but we went back to court and we got joint custody.
Well, how are you going to manage joint custody from the state of California to the state of Washington?
The judge let me allow her to come visit me on her breaks, her winter, summer, and spring breaks.
That's great. So you have her during holidays, winter breaks, and during the summer.
Right.
And other than that, she lives with her father in the state of California.
Right.
Who do you live with, sir?
I stay with my grandmother right now.
And where is your daughter living? With you and your grandmother?
Yes.
How is she?
She's very good. We just had a birthday for her not too long ago. She had a blast. Like November 19th, she just turned 7. She's having fun. Me and her's reconnected very good. It hasn't been that good since she moved away from her mother. It's kind of hard to undo everything that they have done.
Excuse me, Your Honor. We have video that's showing that his daughter is telling that she doesn't want to live with him. She wants to come back home.
Well, the problem, sir, is that you made a life choice to leave so that effectively...
The reason why I left was because of harassment from him and his family. They came to my door with weapons. I walk my kids to school. They come in with guns. They've been threatening my life.
Well,
so
I don't know what this lawsuit is about. I'm not quite sure. What you're suing for are the expenses that you had to incur coming back and forth to litigate this case from the state of Washington to California.
That's true, and also for harassment against Mr. Reed, and my moving costs because I moved out of state, trying to get away from his family and the threats.
Well, that's not what you told me initially. What you told me initially was that you moved to the state of Washington because you had friends there and because you wanted a better way of life for you and your family. That's what you initially told me.
Yes, ma'am.
And I probably was a combination of things. Didn't necessarily need Mr. Reed in your family life. You have a lovely family, 2 children, and 3 with Mr. Reed's daughter. And she was well enmeshed in your family, which is all very lovely. But your mistake was your mistake, saying to him, you are a non-parent. We don't have to ask you if we want to move.
No, we had no contact with him.
For how long?
For years,
We went to court.
We have video.
Just a second.
We had a court hearing in October of 2015 where he was supposed to come pick her up from school every other weekend and every Wednesday, and I have a video evidence.
Just a second. Who brought that proceeding?
The
to
judge.
Give him, no. The judge doesn't bring a proceeding. Either you brought a proceeding against him, or he brought a proceeding against you for visitation with his daughter.
He did.
He did.
And he never...
Just a second.
I'm sorry.
That would be very, very odd, Mr. Galloway. It sounds to me as if at least on 2 occasions that I know of, in 2015 and then again in 2016, Mr. Reed either used his own money, family money, friends' money, or whatever to pursue 2 actions to see his daughter. 2. 1 for visitation. Is that the first time you went to court with him?
No.
Has he brought other actions?
Yes.
Also for visitation?
Yes.
Because, you see, Mr. Reed views this whole thing a little bit differently. Do you have a problem with Mr. Galloway, Mr. Reed?
Yes and no.
Well, let's start with the yes first.
The thing is, you know, he wanted to disrespect me, slander me.
How did he disrespect you?
He called me a... everything under the Tuscan sun.
When?
Constantly. He mentions me in his Facebooks. He mentions me a lot.
May I see what you're referring to?
Let's see. Well, matter of fact,
No, don't give me a whole bunch of stuff. Just give me exactly what you want me to read.
Okay, there we go. And he also just, I got text messages just saying I'm using my daughter for EB, just trying to get food stamps and everything else, which I know at work. a lot. And he's saying he's disabled. So pretty much it's been a whole bunch of shh. And I got stuff on Facebook. I got stuff on my text messages too. I had to comply with... Oh, yes, ma'am.
You want to tell me what this is about, Mr. Galloway?
Let's see. Well, I can tell you what this is about. He's filed different restraining orders on me. I got a phone call from Jonathan's brother saying, oh, well, come fight me. They tried to set me up to come fight them. And if I would have came, I promised Jeanette, no, I'm not going to go fight them. But what I got a phone call saying, come fight me, come fight me, come fight me. If I would have came, they had the lawyers and the restraining orders so that I can get caught up and sent to jail for fighting them. I said, well, that message is, okay, well, if you guys want to fight, we can fight fairly as men. No guns, no restraining orders, no help, no, you know.
Mr. Reed.
And that was my reaction towards their action.
There sounds to me like there's enough blame here to go all the way around.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm completely innocent.
There's
I'm not.
Enough blame to go all the way around.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
When I say to you there's more than enough blame to go around here, you don't have a case against him. But the truth of the matter is I don't think that you should be involved with their child.
And fiancé Travis Galloway say the father of Jeanette's child, Jonathan Reed, filed a false restraining order against Travis.
There sounds to me like there's enough blame here to go all the way around.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm completely innocent.
There's
I'm not.
Enough blame to go all the way around. When Miss Ward's daughter was living with you full time, was Mr. Reed paying child support?
No. The reason why...
I'm
sorry.
These things usually have a pattern. Mr. Reed?
Yes?
You went for visitation, and I'm certain at some point that Miss Ward sought child support from you.
Yes.
Was there an order of child support?
No.
Why not?
Because they was trying to find her to make child support.
What?
They was looking for her.
We're talking about years ago, sir. You hadn't lived together in many years. Do you work?
Yes.
Who do you work for?
I work for Walmart.
How long have you worked for Walmart?
2 years. Before that, I was going to school and trying to finish up my education.
How old are you?
27.
So the answer is you never paid child support?
No.
He never bought diapers.
Let me explain something to you, Mr. Galloway. When I say to you there's more than enough blame to go around here, you don't have a case against him. This is an unfortunate family court situation, and you may find that it gets some things off your chest. But the truth of the matter is I don't think that you should be involved with their child. You.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't think that he may have handled anything or everything appropriately.
Your Honor.
I'm not sure. I know you're going like this, sir. There's a lot of difference between going like this and what I'm reading here. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good.
But I have proof on my phone from text messages that I have not been involved. I have every text on my phone.
You have not been involved
I have not been involved. He's bringing my name up.
Just a second. He didn't sue you. You sued him. That's what brought us to court today.
I'm suing him for harassment. I'm suing him for harassing me. I'm not suing him. I'm not involved in the child.
Mr. Galloway, did you ever seek and receive a protective order against Mr. Reed? Did you ever seek a court-ordered protective order against Mr. Reed and receive one, is my question.
No, I have not.
Okay.
I received bogus reports.
That's not what I'm talking about. Okay. Did Mr. Reed ever seek a protective order against you?
He's tried.
Just a second. The answer would be yes.
Yes.
He did. And was he granted a temporary restraining order?
It was denied.
I didn't say final. Was he granted a temporary?
No, ma'am.
Was not. So that you didn't risk being arrested when you said that you risked being arrested?
That's just 2 days ago.
Oh, that's outrageous. What? Who are you?
I'm the aunt.
This
I'm a witness.
We have a restraining order against her.
Just a second. Right now, I don't have to hear from you.
Okay.
Because he's not losing this case so far.
Okay.
And I don't think he will. But you really have to realize, Miss Ward, that your 7-year-old daughter didn't ask to be involved in this unfortunate family circumstance. You made her. She was born. And I assume that when you made her, you planned on trying to make her childhood as happy as possible. I assume that that's what both of you wanted when you had this child.
Yes.
That be right?
Right.
Unfortunately, it didn't work out between the two of you. That doesn't mean that you can discard him. Now, you have a lovely new mate with whom you have 2 children. I assume you're working in the state of Washington?
I have my own business.
What kind of business?
I'm a club promoter and I'm a music producer.
And you work in Washington?
I work in different states. I travel back and forth from different states.
Well, then the state of Washington could have been a possibility for you, as could have another place closer in California.
Yeah, I was trying to, we moved out of, because we were walking one day while Jeanette was pregnant. She was pregnant. Some guys, the lady right here and the daughter and her dad pulled up on us with a gun saying that we were in the wrong place. We moved out for our protection.
Just a second.
We moved out of
Don't
California.
speak.
And they pulled out a gun. They had a gun.
I don't want you to speak.
While she was pregnant.
Just a second. Them.
And they came to our door.
Just a second. Just a second. I'm not getting into them. I'm talking about him.
He sent them. He's texting me while this is happening.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You have a 7-year-old child. You can either make her childhood miserable or you can make her childhood happy. I guarantee you this. If you make her child miserable, she's going to get back at you tenfold.
Exactly.
With her behavior.
And later today.
Your car got towed.
That's correct.
You had to get it out.
Correct.
How much did that cost?
About $200, $250 if I can check here, Your Honor.
How much?
It's about...
Not about.
Jeanette Ward and fiancé Travis Galloway say the father of Jeanette's child, Jonathan Reed, filed a false restraining order against Travis.
Okay. Mr. Galloway, you don't have a case against him, but all I can tell you is you have a 7-year-old child. You can either make her childhood miserable or you can make her childhood happy. I guarantee you this. If you make her child miserable, she's going to get back at you tenfold.
Exactly.
With her behavior.
I have video.
She's going to... You're far too involved with this, sir. You're far too involved.
Because he's hiding. He's hiding behind. He's hiding behind some things. This video showed.
Did you notice? You notice how you're quiet? Is it because you understand?
No, I'm just waiting to speak.
I'm listening.
When I moved, I thought I had full custody. He wasn't in her life. I wasn't asking for child support. And every time we moved to get away from him, they end up finding us, and my life and my family life was in danger. So we decided to move to Washington.
Yeah,
and when
I want to tell you something. Unless this family court judge was totally out of his mind, he would never have returned the child to her father. Now, I don't know what the circumstances were, and I have absolutely no intention of spending 2.5 hours to figure out the whys. All I know is her father went to court twice that I know of, probably more, in order to get visitation with his daughter, which I have a feeling, based upon what I'm hearing over here, was probably made difficult for him. Probably made difficult for him. Otherwise, I don't understand why he would spend time and money to go to family court and seek visitation, seek an order of visitation. I don't understand. You have no case. Goodbye.
Excuse me, step out.
He's putting false accusations on me. He has false restraining orders against me.
It was really good. Justice was served.
Got people threatening me coming to my house.
Not true at all. Not true.
Him and his family members coming to my house with weapons and pulling up on me with guns and stuff.
He want me out of my child's life.
I moved out of the state. I moved to protect myself.
We didn't do anything to harm her, jeopardize her any kind of way.
It's time to lawyer up.
Just hope that we can move on from this and get better.
And maybe seated. Have a seat.
Miss Taylor, you and the defendant are neighbors.
Yes, ma'am.
And you live in a rural kind of community.
Yes, ma'am.
And it is your claim that the defendant has pigs.
Yes.
Big pigs or little pigs?
I think they were supposed to be small pigs, but they ended up big. They weigh at least 100 pounds, if not more each.
You have pigs?
Yes, I do.
How many?
4.
And did you buy them as small as...
2 of them, yes. 2 others we have rescued from other people that no longer wanted them, and we took them in.
And they weigh about 100 pounds?
Absolutely not.
How much they weigh?
30 pounds for the smaller ones, and maybe the larger one 50. Your Honor, I have pictures if you'd like to see.
I would. So you have 4. You said the smaller one is 30 and one is 50. Well, that's 2 pigs. And the others?
I said the larger one's around 50. The
two larger ones are 50, and the smaller ones?
Around 30.
So somebody bought them as little tiny potbelly pigs, little tiny things, and they grew to be 50 pounds. They said, we didn't bargain for this.
Absolutely, that happens a lot.
Yeah, so you have 4, and it is your claim that her pigs come in and destroyed your garden, your property, and whatever.
Yes, ma'am.
And she says it was somebody else's pigs. That's your response?
Absolutely.
So it was somebody
They were
else's
not
pigs.
mine.
Okay. Now, pigs usually grow up to be 300 pounds. So even a 30-pound pig or a 50-pound pig is a relatively small pig.
Yes.
Now, you live in a rural community. How long have you lived there?
16 years.
Give me the names of anybody within a 3-mile radius to where you live that keeps small pigs, 30 pounds. Give me a name.
I don't know any other people
who
by
keep
name.
Small. Well, that would be unfortunate. If you've lived there for 16 years and you're in the business of rescuing pigs and keeping these small pigs, you would know other people who had small pigs. Now, there may be people who had big pigs, you know, who are cute. But you would know anybody else who had small pigs. Because I see, I'm smart. I see there's a video that I'm going to be shown. And I would assume it's not your video.
No, it's not.
So I would assume it's her video. And she's going to show me a video of relatively small pigs, not big pigs, but relatively small pigs on her property. Okay. Your defense is that somebody else's pigs did it.
Yeah, they were not mine. Mine are pinned.
Okay, very good. I'm ready to see the video.
Wonderful.
When was this video taken, Miss Taylor?
It was actually taken on several dates. Her pigs were on my property. This has been an ongoing issue since July. This was taken in October, a couple of dates, incidences where the pigs were in my yard and playground area. These are the pigs in my playground area.
They're now destroying my playground. Oh, look, that one's getting up the liner and eating on mulch. That one's rooting over here, destroying my playground.
Well, I see them in relation to the chair, so they're small pigs.
October 21st, here are 4 of Kelly Broniker's pigs in my yard yet again.
Well, they're the same pigs.
Yes, ma'am.
Eating my grass, and they bite. If you can't see where they've dug up my yard, let me see if I can zoom in. You see all that? That's where these big pigs are destroying my property. This is the 4th time I've had to call the police, and the 7th time I've asked Kelly Broniker to please take care of her animals that bite. Tonight's our Halloween party. Do you see any kids outside playing? No, because I have pigs in my yard that bite.
I was a bit upset.
I got it. Okay. What do you want?
I have pictures of my pigs that I own, and she has not contacted me 7 times.
Just a second.
Okay.
I'd like to see a picture of the pigs that you own.
I can actually show you.
Just a second. I would like to see a picture of the pigs that she owns. No. This is where you got the pig. No. I want to see them now. That's not what they are.
I just wanted to show you.
No. You want to show me? You want to show me what they look like now? Don't show me when they look like when you bought them.
There is another. There's pictures of large pigs in there as an adult.
I don't want to see large pigs. I want to see the picture of your pigs now.
Excuse me. There is one in there.
Oh, well, that's absolutely one of the pigs that was on her property.
I don't think so.
Oh, I think so. I think so. Okay. Now, may I see any bills that you have with regard to the damage that was done by her pigs?
I have 2 estimates, actually. One for the price of sodding my yard, which is more expensive, and then one just for seeding.
I'm going to suggest, Ms. Broniker, I'm going to suggest that if you want to keep these animals, that you put a very safe pen from which they cannot escape, because they're annoying. You may love them. She doesn't. She says that they bite. They're annoying. They ripped up her property. Don't smile. I mean, smiling is stupid and irresponsible.
Ma'am, I have police reports also where she admits they're hers.
When the police come out, what do they tell you?
Basically, we don't have animal control.
I got it. So I got it. You don't have animal control.
They have gotten, I think, 24 citations, and then they also have health department citations. It's in the police report.
Yeah, see it, please.
Yes, ma'am. For the pigs biting my neighbor, which is why my kids can't play.
May I see it, please?
Sure.
I would
mean,
like
if
to
you're
respond
if you're smiling.
No, I would like to respond.
Go ahead.
One, our pigs are penned. They do not bite, and I did show a picture of the pigs with children so that you can see that they are safe around children. They do not bite, and they are penned. She did call the police. She never contacted me.
Listen to me carefully. Those were your little pigs in her backyard.
I respectfully disagree with that.
Well, that's why we're here.
Yes, ma'am. She did not contact
Don't speak
me
now.
7
Now I'm
times.
reading. Who's Kathy?
She's my neighbor also.
So she also complained?
Yes, ma'am.
She also had damage?
Yes, ma'am. The neighbor across the street as well, which Ms. Veronica and her husband are repairing themselves. I don't really want them on my property, so I refuse to do that.
In what state do you reside?
Indiana. I also have Facebook messages where Ms. Veronica told me not to message
show me
her
Facebook
again.
messages.
Excellent.
You live in Indiana, right?
Yes, ma'am.
They sometimes have wild things. First of all, she says they're not her pigs.
So they're feral.
Well, just a second. Well, if they're not her pigs and they bite, maybe they're wild pigs.
Yes, ma'am.
And if they're wild pigs that bite and you have children and they've been repeatedly on your property, I don't know what the law is in Indiana where you live, but perhaps you should look into it. Do you get it?
Yes,
You
ma'am.
can stand there and be smug all that you like, but right now we have you on tape and you are saying, along with your husband, that these are not your pigs.
That is correct.
Your pigs are penned, so therefore they must be wild pigs that bite. That's what she says. They're not my pigs because my pigs don't bite. I sound like a Peter Sellers movie. But do you know what people do rurally?
They keep them in pens.
No, they kill them.
Oh, ma'am.
If a wild animal comes on your property that doesn't belong to anybody, as you say, these don't belong to you.
They don't.
And they have been known to bite and to injure, aside from creating havoc on the property, the owner of that property, who has gone to the authorities and says they bite, kids can't play outside, and they're wild and not yours, may take to doing something drastic. So if you like these pigs, I would suggest that you do something to ensure that the stray pigs that are on her property aren't your pigs, because they'll end up on somebody's Thanksgiving dinner plate.
I understand.
Do you
that.
understand that?
I do understand.
Good. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. We're done here.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I don't feel like there was proof provided that those were my pigs.
I am so excited. I am so glad that Judge Judy saw through her nonsense.
Actually, all of this could have been avoided had
These neighbors have been so ridiculous, so I'm glad someone else sees that.
plaintiff contacted me personally instead of calling the police.
I did. She told me not to contact her anymore, and she told me that we live in the country, and so there are no laws to govern keeping her animals penned up.
I know my pigs are penned.
I wish they were. If they were, we wouldn't be here.
They're in pens. I promise.
Thank you so much, Judge Judy. I knew you would see through her.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Pears versus New Inn. Step forward.
Adam Pears is suing nail salon owner Bao Nguyen for damaging his jeans during a manicure.
All right, Mr. Pears, some time ago, you went into the defendant's salon to have a mani and a pedi.
Yes.
And when you were getting your manicure, I gather that what they also did was to take off some hair on your hands?
No, Your Honor. It wasn't for so I work out and have calluses all over. It was just to soften the skin. So there are these mitts.
Okay, so it's paraffin.
Yes.
It's a sort of paraffin. So it's not hot wax like they used to take off hair.
It's hot. It's supposed
But it's
to be
not
warm,
that
but
hot.
not too hot. It's not supposed to be
Just
that
a second.
hot. Sorry.
They put it on your hands as a procedure to leave it on to soften whatever is on your hands. It's not like a wax. Have you ever had a wax?
Yes, Your Honor.
So you know what that is.
Yes.
That hurts. That's a very hot wax that
Yes.
they put on. They let hard and they rip it off.
Yes, Your Honor.
Unpleasant. But that's not this. This is a paraffin treatment. Now I understand.
Right.
And it is your claim, sir, that the esthetician who was doing that for you was clumsy and spilled some wax on your jeans.
That's not true, Your Honor.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Grow up.
Your Honor.
Get a life. There's
I mean-
nothing there. You can't see it now.
I can't
and
see
your
it.
jeans.
Your Honor, it's
I
right
just
here.
looked at it.
If the way that they treated the jeans changed the way that the jeans fit, it's
Yeah.
their
If I were
$300
taller,
jeans.
I would be a runway model.
Is suing nail salon owner Bao Nguyen for damaging his jeans during a manicure.
Now, it is your claim, sir, that the esthetician was clumsy and spilled some wax on your jeans.
That's not true, Your Honor.
Spilled some wax on your jeans and it went through and it burned you. That's what your case is about. You want $600. Now, I assume those are the jeans. Are those the jeans?
Yeah, these are the jeans, sure.
Just to answer my question. Don't think of where I'm going. Don't think of the... Just answer the question. Those are the jeans.
These are the jeans.
The defendant says that it was your fault. You moved around and knocked over this paraffin. The truth of the matter is...
That's true, Your Honor.
Oh, be quiet. Truth of the matter is I don't care. Now that I understand that this paraffin was supposed to go on your hands, and I assume that you weren't treated at any hospital or doctor for this burn that you're complaining about. Is that correct?
You're right.
Right.
Your
Because
Honor,
now I'm going to rule in his favor because you're annoying.
I apologize.
Because if wax fell on you, it was supposed to be on your skin. It was supposed to be someplace. So if it fell on your jeans, it was supposed to be on your skin. You have no proof of injury. You have no proof of injury, is that right?
Correct.
Good. So let's talk about the jeans. Now, those are the jeans that got splattered with wax.
Yes,
Yeah, I see the jeans. How did you get the jeans in your possession, Mr. Nagayan?
So Adam called it, made a remark about the incident, but we...
Just answer my question.
He
Did he
came by the
bring them
salon
in? He came by the salon and showed you that these jeans... Is this what you're talking about?
Just one little spot.
I'm not asking you.
Judge Judy.
I'm not sure, Your Honor.
Would you ask him to point to me what he's complaining about?
Your Honor, it looks like they've cleaned these jeans.
What?
Your Honor, this is the spot that I was...
That was the spot that you were
This is the
complaining
spot,
about.
but it was much worse before.
But
so-
it's not worse now.
Well, the problem is with the fabric, the fits might not be the same. So
Why? We're done.
If
The
they're-
case is dismissed. It's over. Grow up. Get a life. Grow up.
Your Honor,
Get a life. There's
I mean-
nothing there. If it's not there, if you can't see it now,
I can
and they're
see
your
it.
jeans.
Your Honor, it's
I
right
just
here.
looked at it. Goodbye.
Oh,
We're done.
Your Honor.
Goodbye. We're
may
finished.
May I just say, if the jeans...
Goodbye. We're finished.
If the way that they treated the jeans changed the way that the jeans fit, it's on the jeans.
No, I did.
He said that he would cover the cost of the jeans multiple times.
I tried to be very reasonable, offer to take the jeans to professional clean.
I guess I should just go to the salon naked if I'm going to get a mani and pedi so people don't ruin my clothes.
Because we want to make every customer happy.
What's your last name?
Kid, Your Honor.
Do you and Miss Allman live together?
Yes, Your Honor.
How long have you lived together?
About 2 years, Your Honor.
What kind of a dog do you have?
We have a pit bull, Your Honor.
How many?
2.
How old are they?
1 is 2, Your Honor, and 1 is a year.
And you live in the same building?
Yes, Your Honor.
What kind of a dog do you have?
I also have a pit bull.
How old?
He's 1.
Now, it is your claim that the defendant's dog mauled one of your dogs, and you want her to be responsible for the vet bills.
Yes, Your Honor.
The defendant says that actually you, Mr. Kidd, were walking the dog.
Oh, Your Honor.
Who was? Oh, you were.
Yes, Your Honor.
Doing you a favor. He was a visitor. He was only walking one dog.
My roommate, and he was taking my dog out while I was at work, Your Honor.
Okay, so he lives with you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Is it just the 3 of you?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you were only walking one dog?
Yes, Your Honor.
What happened to the other one?
She was walking the other one as well.
So you were walking the dogs together?
Yes. Well, she came in first, and then I came in a few minutes later just because Benny had to use the bathroom.
You weren't there?
No, Your Honor.
Sit. The dogs, I gather from reading the complaint, have had a series of kerfuffles before. Is that right?
Yes.
You want to tell me when that started?
The first time we ever met her dog, it was a small attack, and we didn't realize it until we got inside and we saw a little bit of blood. But we assured her, we let her know what happened, and she assured us that she would try not to let it happen again. Happened again the next day.
How did it happen? Who was with the dog when it happened?
Well, the first time, and they never met before, so we didn't know it'd be any physical altercation. We didn't notice anything. I mean, her dog did get a little antsy, but we didn't notice it until we got inside. And then the next day, my boyfriend was taking the dog out, and her roommate was taking out her dog, and that was the actual first really bad attack. Her dog latched onto my dog's mouth, and fortunately my boyfriend could get the dog off, and her roommate assured us that she'd pay for any vet bills and stuff like that. Well, we didn't, it wasn't that serious. We were able, he had a little scar, but it wasn't where he needed stitches.
Okay, now, Miss Nickel, at some point from reading your answer, you were sufficiently concerned to get your dog a muzzle.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
How old was your dog when you got, is it a male or a female?
It's a male.
How old was your dog when you got him?
4 months old.
Where did you get him from?
I got him from a family friend. A family friend.
Did the family friend explain to you why he was getting rid of the dog?
It was going to be a Christmas present, but their dad said that they couldn't keep him.
How many incidents has the dog had?
The 2 incidents that the plaintiffs stated were the incidents that I'm aware of.
Do you have children?
I do not.
You have children?
No.
I only keep one thing on my bench, and I keep it on my bench. It was a letter that was sent to me in 2014 by a woman in Yulia City, California. And she said she's enclosing this letter for me from a local newspaper. It concerns a broken-hearted grandfather who had repeatedly warned his kids about their pit bulls and their grandchildren. This was an open letter to the editor. He said, my 3-year-old grandson is lying in a hospital bed, implanted with IV tubes and many stitches all over his face and chin. His grandma and I were the last to be called out of guilt. He's the victim of a pit bull attack. Since the babies were born, many heated arguments about the dangers the parents subjected these children to fell on deaf ears. It seems all their friends have at least one. They have 2. These are his children. He goes on. But, Miss Nickel, what I don't understand, so you understand what happened here?
Yes.
What I don't understand is you have a dog that is clearly aggressive enough at 1 year for you to muzzle it.
Yes.
Why keep it?
He is my best friend. He's a perfect dog.
I'm going to make a copy of this for you.
Okay.
I'm going to make a copy of this for you. Okay, so now, you want to tell me what happened on the date of this incident, which was?
I have no idea when the day of the incident was.
What was the date, Miss Allman?
December 9th.
Okay, December 9th.
December 9th, yes. I come in from walking the dog, coming all the way up the stairs, 3rd floor, with the leash. I see this dog coming out, running towards Benny, and attacks Benny on the right ear. Next thing you know, I was trying to grab Benny away from the other dog. The dog was so attached to Benny's ear, I didn't know what else to do, so I stopped doing it for a while. Amanda comes in.
She comes in where?
She comes in from her house.
What do you mean? I don't understand. You came in.
They were in the hallway, and we have a picture of the hallway if you want to see it.
Okay, so you came out into the hallway.
Yeah, I heard it. Fortunately, I was just coming inside from taking my dog. I was with him. So I was still at the front door taking her leash off, and I heard everything. So I ran out to the hallway to try to help him get this dog off.
Okay. And what did you see when you entered the hallway?
Her dog, Gnarly, was trying to rip my dog's right ear off.
Where?
Like right in front of her door, which is right in front of the steps, at the top of the steps.
Okay. Your story is different. Let me hear it.
On December 9th, I was going to take my dog out. My friend Jack was also with me. When I opened the door to the hallway, I saw Amanda carrying her smaller dog up the stairs. I said, hello, sorry. We try to keep the dog separated as much as possible. I closed the door back. My dog was in a heel position, and I looked out the peephole. The hallway was clear. When I opened the door once again, the dog did have a leash on, but there was no one holding the dog's leash. So it was just running up the hallway, completely unattended. I was inside my apartment with the door just slightly open. The dog entered into my apartment and began to fight my dog. My dog has injuries, and I also was bit during the attack.
You were taking the dog out?
Yes.
Why wasn't it muzzled?
I was still inside my apartment.
You were taking the dog out in a heeled position. Why wasn't your dog muzzled?
I was just checking the hallway to see if it was clear.
No, that's not what you just said. No.
Yes.
That's not what you just said. Okay, can I see the vet bills, please?
Of course.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Now I'm going to address your counterclaim. Since I don't believe your story, I'm awarding them their vet bills, which are $442. You have a counterclaim. This is what your counterclaim is, that during the course of this kerfuffle with the 2 dogs, you were injured. Well, your dog should have had a muzzle. Then we wouldn't have had a problem. You also were suing them because until your lease is up, you have to board your dog because the landlord told you to get rid of the dog or you had to go, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So you want them to pay the cost of boarding your dog for the next several months. That's also dismissed. $442. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're done.
What about my hospital bills?
I just told you. That's your fault. Your dog should have been muzzled. We're done.
Are you going to excuse me? Step out.
This dog entered into my apartment and attacked my dog and myself.
She lies about everything. Clearly, she couldn't even keep her story straight in court.
I was breaking up the dogs, and their dog bit me in the process.
Having her own dog bit her, and she just wants someone to blame.
We don't talk much before or after the incident.
He's good. He's healed. He's happy.
As soon as my lease is up, I will be out.
The dog's out of sight, so.
It carries vehicle.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Hello, Judge.
Good morning.
Case 2138, Cargill versus Simonet.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Cargill, you and the defendant's son had an accident while you were driving your car, and Mr. Simonet's son was driving his electric scooter.
It was like a skateboard, a one-wheel skateboard.
Tell me your name.
Jacob Simonet.
Describe this vehicle that you were riding on.
It's got 2 spaces for your feet. Has one in the back, one in the front.
No, try to look at me. I'm trying to see you.
Oh.
Trying
There's
to
one in the
go
back,
like this.
one in the front, and then there's a big wheel in the center. And you put your feet on either side, and then it balances, and you ride it kind of like a skateboard.
Oh, I actually
had a
have
feeling
picture
you might
of
need it.
myself riding on one of those for about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
We bought it for one of my grandchildren years ago. But are you required to drive that on the street where pedestrians walk or where cars ride?
On the sidewalk with pedestrians.
Sidewalk.
Yes.
Do you drive it on the sidewalk?
Yes, I do.
Do you ever drive it in the street?
I do not.
Now you're going to tell me what happened on the date of this incident, which was August 17th.
This year, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I was going south after work, and I was going to, crossing through the intersection. I had the green light.
Is there a chart?
Yes. Yes.
I'd like to see it.
Yeah, I was crossing the intersection.
You're the blue car.
I'm the blue car. And I had the green, it was going, and Jacob had cut through on the red into the green and slammed into.
Okay, Jacob, I want you to walk up to that sign and show me where you were when you and the plaintiff collided.
I was about right here.
You were in a crosswalk.
Yeah, I was in the crosswalk coming through and about
Okay,
right.
is that what, Jacob, is that what the police report is going to indicate? That you were in the crosswalk?
I don't know.
Well, I assume that there is a police report. Is that correct? Police report's going to tell me where the debris was, I assume. The debris is either going to be in a crosswalk or it's going to be in the street. Where do you think it's going to be?
Some of it was in the street.
Show me the street that you're talking about.
About like right
No,
here.
put your finger on it. Don't go around where it's
About right here.
right there. That would be in the middle, right?
Mm-hmm.
That would be in the middle of the street where the cars travel, not in the crosswalk.
Yeah.
Yes. It's easy.
Sure.
How old is he?
15.
All of my kids are pretty good kids, but you can always
Figure
tell.
it out, huh?
Yeah, you can usually tell. Is this your first only?
Both, first and only.
First and only. Oh, well, she probably had some experience with that anyway.
A little bit.
A little bit. Okay, and this happened at what time during the day?
I believe it was about 4, a little after 4:30.
So it was light out.
Yes.
You collided with her car on the driver's side.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, on the door of the driver's side.
The fender.
Fender.
Yes.
Side fender?
Yes, side fender.
Okay, not the front of the car.
The front fender of the car.
Front fender of the car on the side. I'm talking about it was the side or the front?
The side.
Side. So you collided with her.
Yes.
Because cars don't move sideways.
Yeah.
Hit my windshield and then fell onto the ground. And when I stopped, he jumped up, appeared at my window, and apologized, and then asked me if I was okay.
What did he say?
Just said he was sorry. And then he asked me if I was okay. And then I asked him if he was okay. And then he asked me if I was okay. And it went back.
So far, is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
And which I was very impressed by, that he was more worried about me than anything else. I moved my car out of the road, onto the side of the road. There was an EMT that was across the street from us, and he came over and assessed him if there was any more damage. He got some road rash and things like that, but he was not seriously hurt, at least that we noticed at the time.
Do you have the police report?
I do.
I'd like to see it, please, Kevin. Thank you.
You're welcome.
One witness said that he was right next to you and that you went past him and that the light was red. His light was red, which is... Explain to me, would you put on this again and leave that one on because that's the version that I believe. Would you walk over there and explain to me what cut the corner was, what you were doing? It talks about cutting the corners. So I want you to understand, I believe That, based upon what I'm reading here, I believe that. So now I want you to show me how you cut the corner.
So I was coming to this one, and I went through, and instead of going here and just going through the sidewalk, I just went like around here and through this crosswalk.
What's cut the corner?
Cut the corner here, right there.
You mean just that little space is what you're talking about? You cut the corner?
Yeah, I went from about
I want you to understand, I believe that you were in the street.
here, and I came here, and I cut here. So right there, I cut the corner.
He is a nice boy, Mr. Simonette.
Thank you.
You know what my father told me when he gave me my first car? I think I was 17, but it was like a tank. He said, because if you get in an accident, I want you to be surrounded by 4,000 pounds of steel.
And later today,
Your claim is that you won a whole bunch of money in some gambling thing. I just want you to tell me how much you won.
Before taxes or after?
Both.
Carrie Cargill claims Joseph Simonette owes for damage after his 15-year-old son hit Carrie's car while riding an electric skateboard.
Okay. The police determined that based upon the eyewitness testimony that the pedestrian, Jacob, is at fault and believed to have crossed the intersection. Called to the scene by your son, is that right?
Correct.
And you got there, you know that he was a little banged up, but thankfully...
He was in an ambulance when I arrived, but shortly after, yes, he did walk out of the ambulance and suffered some injuries, which I have pictures of if you'd like to see them.
I'm sure he was banged up. He had bruises from falling off the...
From being launched from the vehicle after the collision, correct.
Okay. You know, he was really lucky that she wasn't going faster.
Correct. Could have been much worse. We were thankful for his health on the outcome of the incident.
You're right. Okay, can I see an estimate to fix your car, please? Thank you.
You're welcome.
What kind of a car do you have? Deductible.
Yes.
Right. Anything else you want to tell me, Jacob?
Nope.
Do you still ride one of those things?
It's broken. I didn't get a new one, no.
It was destroyed in the accident.
You know what my father told me when he gave me my first car? I think I was 17. He bought me the oldest, ugliest car, but it was like a tank. All my other friends were getting these nice, cute little cars, and this one was like an old person's tank Cadillac or something. You know, we're talking 50 years ago. And I said, why do I have to have this car? Everybody else has cute cars. He said, because if you get in an accident, I want you to be surrounded by 4,000 pounds of steel. That's pretty much the lesson that I've sent out there. 4,000 pounds of steel. One and only, surrounded by lots of steel. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,000. Thank you, we're finished.
This court is adjourned.
Overall, I'm happy.
She had some...
Glad that he was okay.
I remember just flying through the air, and then I was on the ground, and I got right up.
Be very careful.
Count your blessings and enjoy every moment that you have, because things could change in an instant.
I know these electric scooters and skateboards are very popular, but even before this case, I tried to look up any rules, laws, regulations. There are a few for electric motorbikes and things like that, but far fewer than I would expect for a machine that can go up to 17 miles an hour when you're 15.
I think that you're right. I think that since those things have become so popular, there really have to be enforced rules. And parents, and this is a very nice father and son, but I've seen kids weave in and out of cars. It always looked like an accident waiting to happen.
Yeah. And this one could have ended in a real tragedy.
It was lucky.
Car payments and vehicle damage.
Mr. Pickett, you and the defendant, according to what I've read, were friends. You knew each other.
Yes.
You had a car that you were interested in selling. The defendant was interested in purchasing the car. Your car was 10 or 11-year-old vehicle, correct. Is that correct?
Yes.
When had you purchased it?
I purchased it about a year or so prior.
So you only had the car for a year. You were not an original owner.
Yeah.
Did you pay cash?
I did.
How much did you pay for the car?
Roughly $10,000, $10,000.
No, I want to know. I mean, you came to court today, not a roughly. Today we know the numbers. We're not talking about something that happened 20 years ago, something that happened a year ago. You bought a car a year ago. You paid cash for it, according to you. I want to know how much you paid for it. That's easy. You should have those records.
$10,000.
Well, now you say 10, right?
Yep.
Now you say 10. So now I'm going to tell you to go outside and get me the bill of sale for the car.
I did not bring that.
Why?
I didn't think I needed it.
How am I supposed to ascertain what you paid for the car, sir?
I didn't think about that.
Should have thought about it. I thought about it right off the bat. You had the car for 1 year. And when did you sell it to the defendant?
3/18 of 22.
For how much?
$10,000.
Well, then you're a genius businessman, because unless this 10, 11-year-old car, Mr. Pickett, had something really unusual about it, most cars depreciate the moment you drive. Sarah, take a look at a 2012 Dodge Charger with 148,000 miles.
I got it. Between 7,500 and 10,000 for a private party sale.
Okay, so as I thought, the value of the car went down from when you bought it, but you sold it to him for $10,000 because he was making payments, I assume because he was making payments. Did you have a written contract?
I did.
I'd like to take a look at it. Mr. Glick, how did you know each other, sir?
We worked together. We'd known each other for about a year, I think, at the time the car was sold.
Okay, so the first thing was he traded in something of value, which was he gave you a car.
Correct.
What kind of car did he give you?
A Honda minivan.
Did you have the title to that?
Yes, I did.
Did he turn over the title to you?
He did.
What did you do with the Honda minivan?
I sold it.
To whom?
Someone off of Facebook Marketplace.
Okay, when did you sell it?
A few weeks afterwards.
How much did you sell it for? How much did you say you sold it for?
$1,000, $1,200.
Let's get specific, Mr. Pickett.
$1,000.
I'm not exactly. It's the schedule of payments, and you marked off when he paid and when he didn't. But we're going to go through the dates, and your lawsuit seeks damages to the car, repo fees, the unpaid contract price of the car because you repossessed it and you want him to continue until he's finished paying for it, right? That's what you want.
Yes, ma'am.
And the defendant has a counterclaim, and his counterclaim, in effect, although he doesn't articulate it in legalese, the basis of his countersuit is that there was never any meaningful breach of the contract, and that he tried to make his payments pursuant to the contract, and that you repossessed the car without just cause, and he's counterclaiming for the money that he put into the car as equity. That's what your counterclaim is.
That's
correct? Okay. So far you put in $4,000. According to this, he paid you March of 2022, April. As a matter of fact, he made 2 payments.
Correct. Payment schedule was for every 2 weeks.
6/17, he made a partial payment, but made that up on 7/1, so he was up to date. Then you say on the 15th of July, he missed a payment. Did you miss a payment the 15th of July?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
Tell me why.
At that point, the plaintiff had already threatened to repossess the car several times before I'd ever missed a payment on the car.
Because you made a partial payment once in June.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so you missed a payment on July 15th.
Yes, and I informed him when I missed the payment that the reason for missing it, he had just filed for bankruptcy, and with his bankruptcy and the threats to repossess the car, I had decided that I wanted to miss, as it states in the contract, that I could miss 2 consecutive payments before repossession. I wanted to talk to a lawyer and make sure that I wasn't going to be putting even more money into a car that
you weren't going to have equity in.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's why you missed July 15th.
Yes, that's
okay.
correct.
And it's the 29th of July, also missed.
Yes. So I attempted to give Mr. Pickett a $500 payment on the 29th. He refused to accept that payment, and I have that in text.
I'd like to see it.
Text messages.
I'd like to see it. Do you acknowledge that he attempted to give you a payment on the 29th?
Yeah, he attempted to make a partial payment.
He attempted to give you $500.
Correct.
And tell me why you didn't accept the $500. He missed the payment on the 15th.
I informed him on the 16th that I would not accept a late loan on it.
Oh, you didn't tell me that. That adds a different wrinkle to this whole thing, because you told me you paid cash for the car, so I assume there was not a problem.
William Pickett claims his former friend, Clinton Gick, owes for car payments and vehicle damage. Clinton is countersuing, claiming Williams sold the car under false pretenses.
Now, you had a written contract with him. If you're changing the terms, he has to agree to the terms in writing in the same force and manner of the original contract, which is this in writing signed by both parties. You have a contract here. The contract says he can't miss 2 consecutive payments. He wasn't missing 2 consecutive payments. He missed July 15th, and he tried to give you one on the 29th of July. If you refuse to accept it, he hasn't missed 2 payments. You refuse to accept the second one. Got it?
Got it.
Okay, well, I see the interchange, Mr. Pickett, and the interchange clearly says you're paying your $1,000 today or returning my car. He says, I'll be giving you my $500 payment that's due today. Then you changed the contract and you said, not acceptable. You're behind $500 and a late payment will only be acceptable with a current payment. Is there anything about that in your contract?
Other time between the time I repossessed it.
Okay, well, you had no reason to repossess it so far unless he missed 2 consecutive payments or unless he failed to keep insurance. Did he fail to keep insurance?
I have never been given proof of insurance.
This doesn't require that you are given proof of insurance.
Or not.
This doesn't say you require proof. Did you have insurance on the car?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
Through whom?
Erie Insurance Agency.
Okay, and you have no information to the contrary?
I don't.
Okay, fine. So at the time you repossessed the car so far, Mr. Pickett, you didn't have basis under your contract to repossess the car.
There was also other terms that I believe he had violated.
Well, let's hear them. So far, he didn't miss 2 consecutive payments. Had you filed for bankruptcy?
I had started filing for bankruptcy, yeah.
Is that completed?
Still hasn't been discharged yet. I think I have another month or so.
Was this the first time you filed for bankruptcy? Yes, buyer misses 2 or more consecutive payments. Buyer fails to maintain full coverage under insurance. Any significant damage to the vehicle that is not repaired in 30 days. Did you notify Mr. Glick of any damage to the car? Give him notice and say, pursuant to the contract, it has to be fixed in 30 days? 22, he came over to drop off a payment, and that would have either been on June 3rd or June 17th. Correct. Okay, and tell me about the conversation.
I said, hey, there's a dent in the front now. And he said he'll get taken care of. At that point, I didn't really inspect the car. Because
well, I don't care what you didn't do. Yeah. I want to know what you did.
Yeah, I told him, it needs to be fixed. And he said he'll get taken care of.
Okay, and?
When I repossessed it, it was still there, as well as more damage.
Okay. Did he talk to you about the dent in the front?
I don't recall that conversation ever happening. There was text messages sent to me about damage to the car. The car had dents and dings all over it when I got the car. I mean, the front bumper even had significant damage to it.
You repossessed the car at the end of August. Where is the car now?
At my house.
What's it doing at your house?
I was just sitting there for the moment.
Well, what's your intention to do with the car?
Give it up in my bankruptcy or repair it and keep it and pay it off.
Who has the title?
The title loan company.
So there was a loan on this car?
Yeah, there's a title loan on it.
Oh, you didn't tell me that. That adds a different wrinkle to this whole thing, because you told me you paid cash for the car, so I assume there was not a problem. When did you take out a title loan on the car?
I took out the title loan.
Month and year?
One of them was in December of 21.
Did you know that there was a title loan taken out on this car?
I knew that there was one. I didn't know that there were multiple. I don't know. But yeah, I did know there was a title loan.
Did you know in what amount?
No. I was
$6,000 is what was owed on it still at that point when he bought it.
How much did you pay off?
A few thousand by that point. It's super high interest.
Okie dokie. Mr. Pickett, your claim against the defendant is dismissed. I'm now entertaining his counterclaim. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
You get stuck with this car. Now, problem is, you drove this car.
Yes.
Was it your primary source of driving the car?
Yes, it was.
Okay. For 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 months, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, Mr. Glick, this was your primary vehicle. How much do you think it would cost you to rent a car per month? Per month. Give me a figure.
To rent a car?
Yeah.
Per month, I would say $900 a month, probably something like that. $900,000 a month, maybe.
Okay. Based upon what you told me, it's not so egregious because you had the use of the car for 10 months. I actually don't think that an 11-year-old car would cost that much to rent. $900 a month, considering that you also paid for your own insurance.
Correct.
And if you rented a car that is that a truck?
It's a car.
Is there a site where you could look that up?
I'll see what I could find.
But the intention was that money was going to go towards, something that I would own.
Well, I understand that, but you had full use of his property for 10 months.
Sure.
You don't think it's fair for you not to pay for some of that use?
I would think the depreciation in the car for the mileage that I put on it would be more than fair. Absolutely.
Everything depends on how much you put down versus how much you pay monthly. So there's a wide
range. Give me the range. He didn't put anything.
$786 a month, $843 a month, but these are for brand new Dodge Chargers, not for 2012.
Oh.
So.
Okay. And according to you, the current low price on this car is $7,500 price.
For a private party.
For a private party, low price, $7,500.
Yes.
So you're going to resell this car. And the car is currently in working order. And the low price on that car is $7,500, right?
Yes.
And he's already paid you $5,000.
Yes.
In order to break even, if you sold that car, all you need is $2,500.
Correct.
So I think that it's more than fair to give you credit for the $2,500 from what you paid.
Okay.
You paid $5,000. Half of that seems to be a more than reasonable figure to have full use of his property, and he repayments, so you don't want this car back, because getting this car back will be more trouble for you than anything else.
Exactly.
I absolutely understand that, because then you're dealing with his creditors and whatever. I'm not trusting that whole situation. In any event, I don't think that you paying $2,500 towards the rental of the car over a 10-month period is unreasonable. And then he's whole. Then if he wants to spend money to have the car spruced up before he sells it, well, maybe he can get $8,500 for it, and then he's whole. So now everybody's happy. Judgment on the counterclaim for $2,500. We're finished. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
This court is adjourned.
I'm very happy.
You needed a car, I had a car.
I don't think it was an honest transaction on his part.
I'll keep buying and selling.
So yeah, I think he was just trying to get a quick payday.
So I just want to make sure I have this right. The defendant was paying the plaintiff $1,000 a month towards the vehicle that the plaintiff had a title loan out on, but instead of paying off the title loan so the defendant would have the car free and clear,
right,
he decided to keep the payments and not pay off the title loan.
Correct. Which means that even after he completed the payments, which he was halfway finished. Have a seat, please.
Case number 2002, Quam versus Lancaster.
Mr. Kwan, succinctly, your case involves an attack of a dog that was being walked by Miss Lancaster. She was a dog walker. She didn't own the dog.
Correct.
Dog got away from her, and according to you, attacked your dog, and you want to be compensated to the tune of $10,000.
Correct.
You were neither hospitalized, correct?
I was not hospitalized.
You were neither hospitalized, and your dog was not hospitalized.
Correct.
I assume that you have some medical evidence as a result of this incident to show me that you suffered from a dog bite.
Yes.
Okay. And the dog bite was from the dog that was being walked by Miss Lancaster.
Walked is, I'm not sure if I would use the term.
She's a dog walker.
Yes,
She's
but
a
it was
dog
off
walker.
leash.
She's not the owner of the dog.
Correct.
The incident happened on what date and time?
December 22nd, 2021 at approximately 1:30 p.m.
And you were walking your dog, which is what breed?
A 20-pound wiener dog mix.
And you were a dog walker. How long had you been in charge of walking this dog?
At that point, it was about a week.
What kind of dog was it?
I believe it was a boxer mix. Not 100% sure.
How old?
2, 3 years old, give or take.
Who are the owners of the dog?
The owners, I can't remember their name. One of Mike, but I don't remember their last names. But
you remember the owners' names?
Yes.
And it would be fair to say that you knew their names because you tried to sue them.
I contacted them, yes, but did not sue them.
And you contacted them because they're the owners of the dog and they have a house. Mm-hmm. Is not an answer.
Yes.
And a house usually has homeowners insurance.
Correct.
Correct? And after contacting them, and it's their dog, so they are ultimately responsible for their dog, you opted not to seek compensation for your alleged injuries and this attack, but to sue the dog walker.
Correct.
Just my own information, Mr. Kwan, do you want to tell me why you did that?
Yeah. So per California strict liability law, anybody who takes physical ownership or...
So what you're saying is in the state of California, if you are walking a dog, and she says she was walking this dog for a week, how many times a day, every day?
2 times a day.
Twice a day. And she had this job for a week. That under all circumstances, she is responsible for any injury that the dog does. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
And what code is that?
I have a statute over here.
Just tell me the statute.
Per California dog bite law. I don't have the number. but I can bring it up to the.
Would you bring it up?
The court.
It's California Civil Code 3342.
Do you have it?
I could pull it up. I have my notes.
Could you pull it up for me? And I'll come back to you in a second, Sarah. I'm just curious about it. Okay, now let's tell me about the incident, sir.
Sure. So at the time that I described earlier, I was walking my 20-pound wiener dog Mix while my mother walked my infant son, who was 3 months at the time, in a stroller.
Care.
Okay.
I mean, it's not that I don't care about him and I don't care about your mother, but they have nothing to do with this case.
Well, they do have something to do with this case because when we turned onto the block, I turned and I saw an off-leash dog roughly 3 times the size of mine. And I saw the defendant, Miss Lancaster. She gave no warning that the dog was off leash. And at that point, I later learned that the dog.
No, don't tell me. Just tell me what happened, sir.
Okay.
You saw Miss Lancaster, and she was walking this dog off leash.
Correct.
And
she gave no indication.
No, not that. She gave me no indication. Okay. She was walking this dog off leash.
Correct.
So you saw the dog off leash.
Yes.
Okay.
And
about how far were you from her when you saw the dog off leash?
Across the street, so roughly 40 feet.
Okay, and?
The dog charged.
At that point, the dog ran across the street and is in an aggressive stance barking at your dog.
Correct.
Hadn't touched your dog.
Correct.
Okay, what happened next?
It then diverted its attention towards my infant son in a stroller and my mother and started jumping on the stroller.
Did the dog, in fact, jump on the stroller?
Yes.
And
my response was to try to divert the attention.
What did you do? The dog jumped on the stroller.
Yes.
Didn't hurt your son, didn't hurt your mother.
Yes. So I got the attention of the dog again.
How did you do that?
By picking up my dog, who was on leash.
Well, that doesn't necessarily get attention of the dog. You say, hey!
Correct.
No.
Correct.
But you didn't say that. You just picked up your dog.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Probably exclaimed in
No.
attention of the dog.
You told me what you did. You picked up your dog and
started running across the street.
Started running across the street in the direction of where the dog had come from?
Correct.
And at that time, the dog was on the other side of the street.
Yes.
So let me understand this. You pick up your dog. Your mother is standing behind you in the stroller with your son. You leave your mother, your son, on one side of the street, and you grab your wiener dog Mix and run across the street.
Correct. This was after I got the attention of the dog, by the way.
Okay. So now you got the attention of the dog.
Yes.
Ran across the street, so you were trying to divert the dog's attention, and the dog followed you.
Yes, it chased me.
Good. And you were running in her direction?
No. The Miss Lancaster had crossed the street at that point to where we were originally walking.
She was on your side of the street. You were going back to where you had initially seen her.
Correct.
Okay, so she had followed her dog across the street.
Yes.
Was she saying anything?
We made repeated pleas to ask for her to control the
situation. She ran across the street because all this happened within seconds.
Yes.
She ran across the street. Was she saying anything to the dog?
She was yelling, "I'm so sorry, and I can't do anything."
Okay, is that what you were yelling?
I think
across the street, when the dog chased me, I fell down. The dog ended up biting me on my left arm.
Okay, and I'd like to see whatever medical report you have from the bite on your left arm.
So the doctor said that.
No, don't tell me what the doctor said.
I haven't.
Could I see?
I have a picture.
May I see
Absolutely.
a medical? Did you understand my words? I said, may I see a medical report?
I do not
from
have a medical
doctor.
report.
So you didn't go to the doctor. The question is, did you go to the doctor, Mr.
I did
Kwan?
a virtual doctor's visit because this was during the height of the pandemic.
And what was the name of the doctor with whom you had a virtual visit?
I do not remember.
Should remember. You're suing for $10,000. You should have all that information. Because if you have a virtual medical visit, Mr. Kwan, there is a record of that. Doctor keeps a record of that. Do you understand?
Correct.
Okay. So now you're down, and this happened, according to you, on December 22nd. Did you get the dog's information?
I did.
On December 22nd?
Yes.
When did you speak to the owners of the dog?
I spoke to the owners actually that day because I wanted to get the rabies vaccination paperwork.
Did you get the rabies vaccination paperwork?
Yes.
On the 22nd?
Yes.
Now I'll see your photograph, sir.
I have that statute whenever you're ready.
I got it. Timing is everything. Okay, so the knee injury is when you fell.
Correct.
And the arm is a combination scratch and maybe tooth mark.
Yes, there are tooth marks on there, but not punctures.
I don't know. This long thing is not a tooth mark. So just one other question, Mr. Kwan. When you told the owners about this on the 22nd, when was the next time you contacted them? First, you wanted to find out whether or not the dog had sue the owners of the dog, who are homeowners, and who have homeowners insurance.
Yep. I wrote the owners of the dog a demand letter, and that is when I contacted them back, probably about 2 months after the incident.
Okay, so you wrote them a demand letter.
Correct.
And did they respond to your demand letter?
Yes.
Do you have copies of those letters?
Yes, I do.
I'd like to see copies of your letter and their response.
That's the demand letter that I
just want to see copies of your letter and their response. Are they both here?
They did. They responded by calling me on the phone, not with a formal written statement.
Really?
Derek Kwan claims dog walker Danielle Lancaster owes for injuries resulting from a dog attack.
Okay. Well, you say the dog's a pit bull. The dog was a pit bull?
I believe so.
Dog a pit bull?
I asked after the incident. I did ask as well if it was a pit bull. They said no, it's a boxer mix.
You have a video of the incident. You have a video. Somebody has a video.
Yeah.
Correct.
Someone's Ring camera.
Okay. I'm going to allow you to tell me what the owner said in the conversation that they had with you. I'm not accepting it for the truth of the statement, only that you had a conversation with them, which is why you brought this action against Miss Lancaster today.
Correct.
So they decided, we're not going to put this in writing. We're going to call Mr. Kwan.
Correct.
And what did they tell you?
They were very amicable about the situation, and we're trying to solve the situation to make me whole.
Being amicable is subjective. I want you to tell me what you said to them and what they said to you.
What they said to me was that they would look into their homeowner's insurance policy in order to compensate me. Through a series of conversations, I decided that my grievance was not towards them because they were not exhibiting negligence in this situation.
Oh, no, I don't believe that, Mr. Kwan. Be very careful about what you say to me, sir. As between homeowners who have insurance and this young woman who has to walk dogs for a living, if I was somebody interested in $17,000, I wouldn't sue her. I would sue somebody who had, Kathy Bates said in one of my favorites, and you decided not to proceed against the dog's owners is what?
The reason why I proceeded not to go against the dog's owners is because I have because some things are more important than money. And in this situation, I have more of an issue with the dog walker and her behavior during this situation rather than being compensated.
Well, let me suggest this to you, Mr. Kwan. There is no question that if Miss Lancaster was walking this dog and the dog was off leash, she was negligent. There's also no question in my mind that the extent of your damages is excessive. Very excessive. So.
But we're only counting physical damages.
Just a second. What I'm telling you is the amount of your damages is excessive. And if you wanted anywhere near that money, you could have sued both people. You could have sued the owner of the dog, as not only did they have the dog that attacked you, but they have, as Kathy Bates would say, insurance. And you would join the defendant as a party to that action. You would say you're all responsible. You own the dog, which you say was a pit bull, which you say was a pit bull, who just mauled and killed somebody in New York last week. An owner. You didn't do that. So I'm not getting all of this kumbaya business that the person responsible. Do you understand?
Yeah,
I'm just not buying it, Mr. Kwan. We understand each other?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. For somebody who has no medical, you had injuries, and you have to be compensated. You had no good excuse for walking the dog off leash.
I wasn't walking him off leash. When I was in the house happened, I had a key on the other side of the door. When I reached for that key, he scooted as hard as I could between my legs and got out. It wasn't that I was walking him and just decided to take him off the leash.
So you were negligent in letting the dog out?
Unfortunately, yeah. Yeah. Yes.
But the dog had also been out for an hour.
Very emotional.
No.
Okay.
Now, Miss Lancaster, let's get it together. Let's get it together. Mr. Kwan says that the dog was out for a period of time, and you weren't chasing the dog when he first saw you. You were in a walking mode. So the dog may have initially gotten out. Miss Lancaster, I'm an ecumenical abuser. Were you out with the dog for a period of time?
Yes.
Did you have a leash in your hand?
I think
is not an answer. Did you have a leash in your hand?
No.
How long were you out with the dog?
Probably around an hour at that point.
Okay.
I was trying to get him back in, and twice I did have him by the collar, and he wasn't having it.
You didn't have him by the collar when he ran across the street?
No, but before then I did.
don't care what happened before then.
Okay.
Before then, I was 21 years old, and I looked great in a bikini. Now, not so much. All right, Mr. Kwan, this letter was written to Miss Lancaster.
Correct.
I asked you for the letter that you wrote to the owners of the dog.
I do not have that with me right now.
Could we key up this video that I understand we have?
You can see my mother and infant son fleeing.
I am so sorry.
Call the person out. He bit me.
I know I will because he bit me too. I know.
Just grab him by the neck.
I can't. He bit me twice on my hand already. I don't know what to do. It's been an hour. I seriously don't know what to do. He bit me twice already. And I tried to get him on the leash and he bit me twice. I don't know what to do. I am so sorry. I am so sorry.
Can I see the beginning of that and see if you can freeze frame on the dog, please? By the way, you do have a leash in your hand.
Yeah, I just realized. Yeah, I do have the leash actually. So
I'm going to walk over to the.
So although the statute uses the word owner, there's vicarious liability if someone else assumed responsibility of the dog, even though the statute is clear, it only lists the word owner. But in California, they could be held liable through vicarious liability, a walker.
A walker.
That assumed responsibility for the animal.
Okay. He neither suffered serious physical injury, certainly not serious enough for him not to go to work for a week, unless you model Bermuda shorts. You don't model Bermuda shorts, do you, Mr. Kwan?
Just in my spare time.
Of course not.
Derek Kwan says dog walker Danielle Lancaster owes for damages after he was attacked by the dog Danielle was walking.
Okay, so, Miss Lancaster, it does appear to me that you were sort of overwhelmed by this dog.
yes,
But
very much.
bottom line is that Mr. Kwan was injured and frightened, not seriously injured, but seriously enough that if it were me, I would be furious as a result of your negligence. And he neither suffered serious physical injury, certainly not serious enough for him not to go to work for a week. I don't know what kind of work you do, but not serious enough unless you, unless you model Bermuda shorts. You don't model Bermuda shorts, do you, Mr. Kwan?
Just in my spare time.
Of course not. And you had no medical bills because you didn't see a doctor. But you were attacked. And I actually don't know why you didn't sue the owners of this dog. Questions will not insure you in a homeowner's policy if you have a certain kind of dog. Are you familiar with that, sir?
Yes.
What are you familiar with? You're very familiar with statutes. So what is the law in California with regard to insurance? Can you be denied insurance or have to pay an excess premium if you have a dog that is either a pit bull or a pit bull mix?
I believe so.
You believe so. And would it be a fair statement, sir, that their homeowners either covered their dog or didn't?
They were looking into it, and they had renter's insurance that I believe covered it.
That you believe covered it? Oh, very foolish of you not to go against them. Okay. If you accept responsibility for a dog, you're supposed to be smart enough to look at a dog and say, you know what, why would you ask what kind of dog this is? Now, you let the dog out, and the dog was out with you for an hour.
Yes, yeah.
And during that time, you were walking around the neighborhood, and you had sufficient opportunity. You were walking around the neighborhood.
I wouldn't say walking. I was
were you doing?
Clearly trying to get the dog back in, and twice I did have him by the collar, and that's what I said in the video. I had him by the collar, and then both times he turned to nip at me on my wrist, so which is why I let go, because I didn't want to get bit.
I know, you said it.
So I was trying to have him follow me, which is what the owners told me to do. I had treats in my hand.
So you called the owners?
Yes, I did call
you called the owners and you told the owners what was going on?
Yes, I did. They knew what was going on.
I would have sued the owners. Mr. Kwan, I would have absolutely sued the owners unless they didn't have insurance that covered the dog, which is a problem for them if they had renter's insurance. In any event, Miss Lancaster, you assumed responsibility of this dog, and based upon your own negligence, forget about the dog's breed, forget about these other people. As a result of your negligence, he was injured, and you have to compensate him for that. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. We're finished.
Court is adjourned.
I don't think he even got bit.
The doctor said that most of my injuries were emotional, but I did receive a bite from the dog onto my arm, but not a puncture wound.
I think he just, wanted some extra cash from me because I was probably...
I understand that, but the dog was off leash for an hour. She could have called the police or animal control during that time.
Don't open the door even in the slightest to a dog. Just wait till, they're away and gone.
Mostly my MO is getting back at those that I have grievances against.
Let's not even get started with dog breed, because I think the world knows where I live in that street. Mm-hmm. And 10 days ago, a woman who was watching a pit bull for one of her children, 64-year-old woman, her husband came home from work and found the dog eating her in the backyard. Sadly, she died. And there are certain breeds that are more dangerous than others. People have to recognize that. And if you choose to get a dog that is potentially more dangerous, and I know that there are pit bull lovers out there and say, mine is the sweetest, mine is the loveliest, but then you have to accept responsibility if there's an issue. And clearly this dog was an issue because I believe this young woman. Mm-hmm. Didn't you believe her?
I believed her, and I think that dog walkers should also be cautious of what animals they're choosing to walk, because she could be held vicariously liable. So you might want to stick to 5-pound chihuahuas from now on, maybe.
Right. I mean, she was visibly very upset. Visibly. And she said on the video, he bit me twice on the hand because she tried to get a hold of him. But she was still out with the dog for an hour. But he was, in fact, injured. Mm-hmm. And whether he went to the hospital or not, that's pretty traumatic.
Yeah. I don't think you can level it down to actual damages from a bill, but there's some component of punitive damages as well for the pain and suffering and trauma from an event like that.
That's true. But forget falling down and being attacked by a dog. Our family would feel as if, you've got a splinter in your hand as a result of somebody's negligence, or a nail that went into your foot as a result of somebody being...
Xin chào mọi người, chào mừng mọi người đã đến với kênh của mình. Hôm nay thì mình có bức tranh về một bác nông dân đang thu hoạch lúa hay là cỏ gì đó. Các bạn hãy cùng mình bắt tay vào và tô màu cho bức tranh ngay bây giờ ha. Đầu tiên thì mình sẽ tô màu màu tóc cho bác nông dân nhé. Bây giờ thì cùng mình tô màu cho chiếc mũ nha. Mình sẽ tô màu cho cái phần bánh xe. Bây giờ thì tô màu cho chiếc xe đẩy nha. Mình nghĩ đây là cỏ nên là mình sẽ tô màu xanh lá.